6. And I thought we fought. I thought we had done some really nice things. A team that shot the ball exceptionally well for many stretches of the season. We didn't shoot it as well as we need to, expect to, and that ultimately affects your defense. And then it puts so much pressure on that side of it that it eventually cracks against a North Carolina team that I think is playing awfully well. I watched them play in a win against NC State, Wake Forest, somebody else. I thought they played very well over the weekend at Duke. So disappointed, but there will be better days ahead for the Hokies. I can assure you of that. You guys go ahead.
Raise your hand. Let us get the handheld mic to you, please, and let us know who you are, who you're with. Front row.
Mark Berman, Roanoke Times. Guys, what about UNC's defense made it a tough shooting night for the team?
They can shoot the ball really well. Brandon Robinson, we knew coming into the game he was a great shooter, and we gave him some wide open opportunities. So next year, that's just something we got to work on the defense end, is getting to those shooters.
Front row.
Landers, you guys scored 56 points tonight. 45 of those were scored by freshmen. What does it say about kind of the youth of this group, and how do you think that group kind of gelled all year?
We played well together. Got better as the season went on. Did what we always did that got us some success early in the season. Hit some rough passes, but tried to weather the storm and get back to playing Hokies basketball, and we just came up short.
Third row to our left.
Jalen, you mentioned Brandon Robinson. At that point when he made those two back-to-back three-pointers, did you see anything specific on that play, and did it feel like that was sort of a turning point momentum-wise?
When he hit those shots, he definitely got the arena into it, and he gave their team a lot of energy and momentum. And I think at that moment we should have shut his water off and not let him hit anymore, and really got some stops. But we failed to do so, and they kept knocking down shots.
Front row.
Guys, tough shooting night for your team. What about North Carolina's defense? Made it a tough shooting night, or was it just kind of missing good looks?
Got great looks, just missed some open shots, shot a couple contested shots. Defense they played a pretty good defense. I mean, credit them, they got the win. But we had good opportunities, we just didn't capitalize.
To our left.
Aaron McFarling with the Roanoke Times. Jalen, I think the team went 5 for 14 on layups today. Is something about their size that when you go in for a layup that it's a little nerve-wracking in there, or do you have any explanation for why it was so tough to make layups tonight?
They are big down there, so when you get down there in the lane, they kind of force you to get it up a little higher, but some of those were on me. I'm going to see that in the film to where I should have kept my dribble alive and got it out to one of my shooters because they like to crash, but we just weren't knocking down shots that we normally make tonight.
Any other questions for the players? Third row to our left.
Hey, Landers, Gene Wong, Washington Post. How much difference, if at all, did the atmosphere make in what was supposed to be a neutral site game, but kind of felt like a North Carolina home game?
Great atmosphere for them. Great atmosphere for us. I mean, we just came to play basketball. The atmosphere was good. It contributed to their run, got them sparked. It was a good atmosphere to play in.
Second row.
Jalen, you committed to the Hokies a little bit after Mike took the job. What are some of your biggest takeaways from your freshman year? I mean, you had some very successful games here as a freshman.
I knew Coach Young was a great coach coming in, and I liked his style of play, and I knew, most importantly, he was a winner. He was able to win with the team he had versus bigger teams. So that's the main thing. I wanted to play for a winner, and I know we're going to look back on this season and look at our takeaways, and this offseason get a lot better and be a different team when we come back.
Front row, we'll take 2 more questions.
For Landers and Jalen, you guys beat these guys during the regular season. Obviously, they didn't have Cole Anthony. How different a team did they feel like tonight?
Landers.
Different pace, a different style of play, more not really running plays, just good movement, good basketball. It was just a different look.
Jalen?
The game was a lot faster. They played faster with Cole on the floor. On our make and miss shots, he's getting the ball at the three-point line and pushing at full speed, so it caused us to have to get back on transition. And last game, they really didn't have much transition, but this game they had a lot more with him on the floor and Brandon Robinson shooting the ball well, running the lane lines.
Last question for the players.
Landers, you finished with 16 wins this year, 7 in the ACC with a young team. How do you view the season, and what does that mean for you guys looking ahead to next year?
Great season, great takeaways from it to help us get better for next year. I enjoyed it, playing with the guys. It was fun. I mean, we're going to get better in the offseason and come back stronger.
Okay, thanks, guys. You guys can head back to the locker room.
Thanks, fellas.
Reminder that a request to Virginia Tech players will be available in the auxiliary area, which is auxiliary area 2, which is through the locker room hall to the right. Okay, questions for Coach? First one back left.
David Teal, the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Mike, you're not only the youngest team in the league, but you're the smallest team. Given those circumstances, how would you assess your first season in Blacksburg?
You know what, Dave? Pretty damn good. Considering what I found on April 8th with good players graduating, 7-13 is never going to be good enough in Blacksburg, nor should it be. 16-16 is never going to be good enough in Blacksburg, nor should it be. You know, to cobble that together and do so with some really quality people and scrap and claw and, you know, some great moments, some not so great moments, but you know, we're off and running now, if you will. Things are in place. The foundation is in place. We start back with our spring workouts, and it's not new. You know, we've done it, and we know what we're looking at now. We know how things are going to operate and how we're going to run. And I'm looking forward to that. I'll be honest with you now. There were times I thought I was hanging on for dear life, trying to get a little bit more, and we did. We had a tough stretch, you know, late January, February. This isn't the best league to be young and small in, Dave. As many of you that have covered this league for many years, I'm not sure that there's a league in America that's good to be young and small. We're going to look a lot different a year from now, I can assure you of that.
Front row.
Mike, what about Carolina? Was a tougher matchup today than when you beat them in January at your place?
Well, you know, obviously not being in the Castle, I was like being in the Smith Center in there tonight. Baycoat and Garrison are just big physical presence type of people, and Cole gives them the opportunity to push the ball at a different pace than what we encountered in our first meeting with Black and Francis playing the point. That's just a different game, and that's not a knock on Leakey. I think Leakey's a terrific player, but that's not his natural spot and doesn't move, you know, as briskly up and, you know, after a made shot, after a missed shot, what have you. And I think Brandon Robinson has had a really nice year for them. I thought going into our first meeting, he was their best perimeter shooter. I certainly feel that way coming out. You know, I mean, that's difficult for any of us to lose two frontline guys like that, to have them on the shelf as they were in the first meeting. So there were a lot of things that went into it, Mark.
Again, front row.
Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. You heard me say 45 of your 56 points come from freshmen. You mentioned the crowd, the Smith Center atmosphere. How do you think your young guys handled the ACC tournament this week?
You know what? You know, fine. You know, we're hanging on. We just can't put a couple of stops together. We can't get a couple of shots down, and we're trying like crazy to get Cone and others behind some things. You know, all of those experiences. I go back to Maui, Michigan State, and playing that terrific Dayton team. And, you know, all of these experiences that we've had throughout the year, Mike, will, you know, benefit us greatly. That can be overwhelming. That can be intimidating for young people. I thought they acquitted themselves quite nicely throughout the year. I really did.
To our left.
Bob Holliday, WRL.com. Mike, you had some momentum going into halftime.
I did. Yeah, we did.
You started the second half with 7 straight empty possessions, and I think you only scored on 2 of your first 12. I
recall.
Just your thoughts about what happened to the offense.
Well, you know, I mean, you've got to you got to score. I mean, you've got to score the basketball, and I can remember 3 of the first 7, 4 of the first 7. There was a quick shot in there. I'll go back and look at it tonight, tomorrow morning, and I'll say, you know, that was a kid that we want shooting the basketball, and it was a rhythm shot. It was a practice shot. He just missed it. You know, certainly North Carolina's defense had something to do with it, but as I said earlier, you put so much pressure on your defense. I haven't had that a lot in my career. You put so much pressure on your defense when you don't score it, and you know, at some point, you know, the levee breaks, and you know, you got a problem against you know, I think a more explosive North Carolina team here in the last 2-3 weeks than we've seen to this point.
We'll take 2 more to our left.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Gene.
When you're going into a game that on paper is neutral site, but in reality is a home game for North Carolina, how does that impact your preparation? Did it affect the execution at all
You know,
tonight?
somebody does those probabilities, you know, and I think going into Saturday's game, I think our probability to play North Carolina down here was not very good, and that's my luck this year. And we get that, but you know, certainly special to be here, Tobacco Road, Greensboro, and to play the Tar Heels. You know, and to see Coach Smith compete against, Coach Williams, and compete against Coach again. We'll look forward to wherever we go next year. This is a special event, and it was a treat to be a part of it.
Last question, front row.
Mike, 29% from the field. Was that a lot of bad looks because of their defense, good looks that just weren't falling?
Let me go back and look at it, Mark. I thought we had great shots. Now, you know, we had a couple, you know, the environment. We haven't had very much of that at all throughout the year. We had a couple of, we had a terrible turnover. We weren't aware of the shot clock. The awareness of the shot clock offensively is every bit as important, you know, as the defensive end. And you know, we had a couple of cracks at it, and we were looking for something a little bit better. I would say when it's all said and done, go back and watch it. You know, a combination of the two.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. I don't need that. You get yourself? I called myself.
Well, we're glad we're here. I'll donate some money to the conference office to get a light bulb there in that steps up there. I broke my dadgum neck, but if we'd lost the game, I would have done it intentionally probably. But so Phil, let me know how much a light bulb costs there. I know John Swafford. I'll send him a check. Very happy to still be here. I told the kids, let's play as hard as we can play, as well as we could play, and at the end, somebody may let us stay around and play another one, and I thought that's what we did. I thought we were really lucky early in the second half because they had a tremendous number of shots, layups and shots that just rolled off the rim, and I think they just missed them. Our defense wasn't making them do that, and after the first 5 or 6 minutes of the second half, I thought our defense got a lot better. We fouled one of the three-point attempts, which we don't like to do, but I thought our defense was better, but in the second half, we were good offensively. We only had 2 turnovers, I think, in the second half. We tried to make an effort to get the ball into Garrison, and he made baskets. He also found B-Rob on one big three, and B-Rob going 5 for 6 from three-point line was extremely important to us as well. So we're lucky we played well enough, and now we get to stay and play another game unless they cancel the tournament or something. We'll be here playing tomorrow.
Okay. Questions for Garrison and Brandon, please raise your hand. And a reminder that Carolina's already finished in the auxiliary interview room. So once the players are done, then it'll be it with all the players. First question, raise your hand. Back right.
Garrison, what did you guys do to get you more involved in the second half? You had a couple of slips and some other stuff in the lane.
Just basically executing our game plan. It's a couple plays that our coach drew up, and we just executed well.
To our left.
Brandon, after the step back three, I believe you yelled, "I'm here." What was kind of the emotion there, and what was going through your mind?
I'm just fired up. I get another opportunity to put this jersey on. It's my senior year, and I don't want it to end. And just our fans were doing a great job tonight. It felt like a home game, and I just love being here.
Second row left.
Garrison, what did you make of B-Rob's night? Did you think he had a crossover like that?
Yeah, for sure. I know B-Rob had that crossover since high school. I saw it a real long time ago.
Third row.
Garrison, sort of related question. When you see B-Rob shout, "I'm here," we see you smiling now. What are you thinking when you see that sort of energy from him?
I'm just really excited to see him back out there playing well. I mean, he's been really big for us this year, and just him doing all these good things for our team is great.
On the aisle.
Brandon, when you're hot like that, 5 for 6, what does that feel like to you?
It's credit to Garrison, honestly, because, he did a good job of scoring the ball inside and been playing his butt off this whole year. So teams have been looking to double down on him. So when they leave me open, it's my job to knock it in. And he's been doing a good job of finding me and just always in my ear telling me to shoot the ball.
Anyone else? To our right.
This is for both players. Brandon, you mentioned this feeling like a home game tonight. Given the hill you guys are trying to climb this week, how critical is it to have the fan support like that?
Brandon? It's definitely good to have the fans support. They were getting into the game, and they're getting loud, and they made it difficult for the other team to hear their offensive sets because every time down the court they were calling plays and looking over at their bench. So it was good to disrupt their communication.
Garrison?
What B-Rob said. I mean, let's say the same thing over again.
Yeah, I feel you.
To our left.
Garrison, you started just 1 for 5 from the field in the first half. You made your free throws. You made everything in the second half. First time you'd played a game in this building this year, was that it? Or why did you shoot so much better in the second half?
I took the goggles off. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I think that's the thing. I take the goggles off. I think I shoot a little bit better.
Last question for the players. Question right there. No? Anyone else?
Did you get yours?
Front row.
For either or as Kiera, can you speak to the brotherhood that you guys have? Because Christian Keeling went out, he was seriously hurt, and then he came back, and you can see him pushing off the trainers, helping him. Like, he wanted to get back in that game. Can you guys speak to him wanting to come back and be with you all?
You want to speak on it? I'll speak on it.
That's Paul Pierce right there. Go look up the Paul Pierce video. No, but we all love each other. This whole year we've all been battling injuries. We all been going through tough times. So just to see him come back out there and push through it, I was proud of him. And
it just speaks volumes to this team. We all care about each other. We all have one goal, and that's just to win this tournament. But we got to take it game by game, and we need all hands on deck to be able to do that.
Okay, Garrison Brandon, we'll see you tomorrow.
That's it, Paul Pierce.
Good job. Okay, questions for Coach? Start in the middle of the room.
Hey, Coach. J.B. Ricks, Spectrum News. You said at the end of your opening statement that, you guys will play as long as the tournament doesn't get canceled. Other tournaments are not allowing spectators. One tournament has been canceled. What are you hearing from your end as far as the possibility of the ACC deciding to cancel this tournament or not allow spectators to participate?
The only thing I'm hearing is because of this that we're going to cancel the ACC spring meetings. I think that'd be the greatest thing in the history of this conference. No, I'm like you guys. I watch TV and don't hear anything else. Bubba's in constant contact. Different leagues make their decisions for their reasons. The ACC will make whatever decision is continue to be made for the right reasons as well. It's a terrible situation. I mean, it's scary. I mean, at the end of the game, I was mad at myself because I shook hands with all the other guys, and I meant to give them the elbow, hit. But no, this is not a good situation in our country right now, and we don't have a great handle on what's going to happen next. I watch CNN most of the day today, and about every hour the numbers go up of the cases, and numbers continue to go up about the people that lost their lives. So on a humorous note, I get frustrated because they talk about old people, and they started that at 60. I'm 69, God almighty, so that's a humorous thing that I can put, but it's not a humorous situation. I mean, it really is not, and it's sad that it's happening, and our country is always very resilient and make great decisions and what to do, and people are, the governor of New York, for example, closes down one area and trying to get people to come in to clean things and to provide help, and it's very scattered. You listen to one news station compared to the other news station, it's like we're in two different countries, and that frustrates me. But when the ACC, if they tell me to show up and coach a game, I'm going to show up and coach a game. But I do think you guys should try to promote no ACC meetings this spring.
To our left aisle.
I'll play 36 more if we can do that.
Yeah, Kip Coons, Press Box View. Roy, Mike Young and his players touched on the difference that Cole made running and getting the pace faster than it was up in Blacksburg. What did you see from your vantage point?
Cole was very important to us and was good, and he can be really good. I mean, he ran the play that we sincerely put it in, maybe it was yesterday or today one. I just wanted something different to play, and he ran it to perfection twice in a row, and Garrison got dunks out of it. But having Cole in the game makes me a lot better coach. He, as I said, didn't have one of his great games. He was 4 for 4 on assist-to-error ratio, but he was the man in charge out there. He was the guy that put us in where we needed to be and made some shots, missed 2 straight free throws, which he hasn't done that very often. But the good news is he got his feet wet today in his first ACC tournament, and we need him to play better tomorrow. But there's no question Virginia Tech beat North Carolina at Virginia Tech. But there's also no question that we're better off with Brandon Robinson and Cole Anthony on our team.
Back left.
Coach, was this one of your more balanced games in terms of inside and offense production and production from numerous players across the board?
I was trying to remember what we shot 7 for 13 from 3, and B-Rob's 5 of 6, and then Andrew made one from downtown Greensboro at the end. So it's probably better than we've shot any game this year. But Garrison has been effective inside, and I thought Armando was effective inside. Armando's rebounding. He had 4 offensive rebounds, 11 total. So we did have a little bit. Christian's been shooting the ball really well and didn't make any in the first half. I think he made one in the second half or something. But or no, maybe he made one late in the first half. But we did have a lot of guys that got involved, and that usually is the best team when you have more than one guy scoring.
To our left.
Roy, you play every night as long as you keep winning. Does that affect your substitution plans and pattern?
It's in some ways, but if you plan make substitutions hoping that you're going to be there the next night. Sometimes you're not there the next night. And so what we're trying to do is put the best guys in the game at that time to give us the best chance to win the game. And then at the end, you know, if it's a margin that you can get them out, then get them out. And, you know, when I was 18, 19, 20 years old, I never thought I was tired. So I think it's overrated.
Third row.
Roy, B-Rob made those back-to-back three-pointers you mentioned. What's the value of him then showing that sort of energy afterwards? And is that something that even at the beginning of the year you maybe would have expected from him?
Well, I didn't hear him say it and didn't see him. I know he was excited. We had a player one time for Coach Smith that took a bad shot and it went in, and took a bad shot and went in, and took a bad one and missed it. And he came over and Coach Smith took him out, and he said, "I was feeling it, Coach. I was feeling it." Coach Smith said, "We'll see how that bench feels." If I'd known he had said, "I'm here," I would have said, "We'll come right over here and be right here." You know, just play the game. Kids are going to be kids, though.
Second row aisle.
Hey, Coach, how much of a benefit at all is there playing a team from a preparation standpoint on day two that you faced 9-10 days ago?
It's the same for both teams, so it's not an advantage either way. And in one situation, that's the only team we've played all year long. It's played almost entire game in the zone. And that's what Jimmy does, and they can press and they can play man-to-man. They work on that regardless of what people think, but they press and they play zone. So in one way, that possibly could help. But again, that's the only team we faced all year long that played zone the whole game.
Last question, front row.
Hey, Coach, can you speak to Christian, or speak for Christian and bringing him back in? What was your decision-making going with that?
Well, if he was going to sit over there, if he was able to go back in and play, I wanted to put him in, because if he's sitting over there, he gets even more stiff. And then if he goes out and play and perhaps loosen it up and feeling better about it and feel more confident about him, that if we do win, then he's got a chance to in my opinion, he's got a better chance to play the next day.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Remember what we're talking about, ACC meetings.
Walk slow, I'll guide you down here.